I'm glad to see that we're still considered locals. I told Deb we might have to apply for citizenship. We've been gone so long. It's good to be back. This week I received a Father's Day card. A really neat Father's Day card. Aaron was pretty interesting on this. It said, "Dad, do not try to have a happy Father's Day." Okay, I'll try not. Do or do not. There is no try. Now, for anyone who recognized the little green character on the front of the card, yes, it is Master Yoda. And that's a Yoda-ism. Yoda's words kind of reminded me of some things that I've been thinking of. And I understood that there was...
Always with you.
Oh. Let's go back. All right. Do or do not, there is no try. That's Master Yoda's words. So when I looked up and thought about this, I need to go back to 1988. So before I come into this and get his comments, there are no spoiler alerts allowed after 25 years. So if you haven't seen it yet, okay. So I went back to episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars, number 2 came out. In this one, everyone says probably the most important materials were given, and everything else builds upon that. So for a quick synopsis of just how this kind of worked, we're going to forget the first almost 3/4 of the film, because that's just kind of stuff. That last 1/4 is where it all went to. And we start off with Luke Skywalker, one of the main people in this episode of the story, crashes his X-Wing fighter on this nasty little planet, in which he's going to meet Master Yoda. And Master Yoda finds that Luke has a bit of an attitude problem.
Always with you, what cannot be done. Do you not think that I say?
Master, moving stones around is one thing. This is totally different.
No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
So, Luke had a bit of an attitude problem that Master Yoda had to kind of work around. Luke has this encounter on this dank little musty planet with his nemesis, Darth Vader. Best I can do. All right? And he defeats him, and he thinks, I'm ready to go meet the guy. Yoda says, no, you're not. Luke says, yes, I am. And he lifts the X-Wing fighter, even though he thought he couldn't, out of that murky swamp, and he and R2-D2, beep, 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 little droid that helps him around, they clean it and spiff it up and said, we're off to go, heading off to find Darth Vader, and we're going to take over the Empire and clean it up. They take off. And they go to the star, I think it's called the Cloud City, and they find, above all things, Darth Vader. And he approaches them, and they have a little battle, and, Luke thinks he's doing pretty good. And the bottom line is Darth Vader cleans his clock. And there is Luke out on this little bitty precipice over a large abyss, hanging on. And at the meantime, Darth is giving him his best shot. Come, Luke, with me. Together, we can beat the Emperor, and we can rule as father and son. Well, for a moment, Luke kind of got a bright eye, but it was the next statement that Darth made that really set the stage. You know the Emperor knows that you can defeat him. Really? Oh. And then he says, come, Luke. It's the only way. Well, you might as well say it sealed the deal right there, because Luke was debating whether to go to the dark side or go with the Force. So what he did, he let go into the abyss with the Force. And the Force grabbed him, throws him, and instead of against a wall, it goes right down the little tube. One shot in a million. Down the tube, stops. That's good. Outside. Boom. It's a garbage outlet. How appropriate. And he's hanging by a very injured arm, all busted up and tired, hanging on the abyss of space. What's you going to do now? So he's hanging there, and lo and behold, comes the cavalry. It's Princess Leia and her buddy. But it's not Luke Skywalker. It's not Han Solo, because he's kind of frozen at the moment. Can't think of the guy's name. Lando Calrissian. Hey, you know you got Star Trekkies and Star Waries out here when they can call up. Because I'm watching, and there's people going, yeah, got it right. Orlando. And Luke drops, he lets go. And he falls on the deck, and Lando grabs a hold of him, and they take him down inside, and they repair him, and all's good. Luke realized he was not ready. Two words that I've been thinking about for quite some time, that this little card kind of sealed the deal for me. Persistent and patience. Persistent and patient. On the surface, they seem to go hand in hand, but they're actually oil and water. Persistent is more of a physical entity. Bootstraps, let's say. I can do it. I'm ready. And stay in there. While as patience actually holds ring in the great ring of fruits of the Spirit. It is spiritual in nature. And like a lot of things God has designed, when you match these disparate elements together, they become greater than themselves. So a persistent patience, where persistent is continually and firmly holding on to things with no difficulty about the opposition. I got this. Where patient is able to accept those undesirable states, the problems and the suffering, and hang on. A patient persistence is a state of immediate action, on hold, under calm spirit, yet ready for an act at a moment's notice. And the persistent patience is being in a state of determined patience. In other words, I'm going to be patient. You ever seen that little ad or little thing about the little kids put in a room with marshmallows? And they tell them, if you don't eat the marshmallow, you get more. And how many of them? And then bring them back out. And then the ones that just sit there and look at it. That's persistent patience. I'm going to be patient even if it kills me. I'm going to be patient. It's being patient, controlled under calm, under fire, with a hair trigger. Ready to act when needed, but patiently waiting. So you go to the Bible and ask, okay, what's God got to say about this? Well, it's interesting that we have multiple translations, because every translation will utter a little different rendering of a word. And Romans 5, 3 through 5, and we're going to focus on 3 and 4, give us, through the King James, the NLT, New Living Translation, and the NIV, the New International Version, gives us our words from the same verse. Romans 3 and 4 reads in the King James, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations, also knowing that tribulation works patience. And patience experience, and experience hope. The NLT, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. And endurance develops strength of character. And character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. And in the NIV, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, a.k.a. persistence. For perseverance to character, and character, hope. Did you hear something constant? Hope. All three of these blend to provide us the ability to have hope. Got to have a graph in this. I'm trying to think of how to put these all together. Deb and I were talking about it. She says, well, it's like a pyramid. Okay, I get that. Because on the bottom is patience and persistence. They're your foundation. And it goes both ways. You have patient persistence and persistent patience. They work each other. But they both go up in their directions. From patience, you go up to endurance. And from persistence, you go to endurance. Because together, they help you be enduring. And what is enduring? Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Now, how many of us picture in our mind enduring Luke hanging on that garbage rail, wondering what am I going to do now? I can hang here, but he's already tired. We've already been beaten around by tribulations and illnesses and sicknesses and you name it. Back and forth. How long can you tread water? To quote an old comedy routine. How long can you hold on? If you're relying on your physical persistence to do it, not long. But if you're relying on the patience, knowing that God is there and He will bring the cavalry, Christ is there. Christ is coming. The answer is coming. Maybe not in time for you, but at that moment, but it's coming. And that's what has to be ingrained. Revelation 2 and 3. Now, we've heard a little bit about this. Mr. Creech is in, I won't say the middle, but he's somewhere in still giving on the churches. We've heard from Mr. McNeely and others about the churches in Revelation. And one thing we do remember, we hear, is that he who has an ear, let him hear. But before Christ said that, because that's his trailer, like, listen up, he makes another statement in two different ways. To him who overcomes, or he that overcomes, consistently with every church. And then he says, after you do this, here's your rewards. And you go all 7 rewards, it's what we all look forward to. But you got to overcome. And to overcome, you got to endure. Hang in there. Hold on. Don't let go. What in this life will give you the strength to hold on against Satan's darts, force, the world, our own human nature? How much? What? It adds up to a gigantic goose egg because we can't. There's only one thing, and that's the Spirit of God. That will help us to hold on. We endure Satan's wrath, the world's forces, our own human nature, to overcome our sins and all the abrasions of this world. Matthew 13:13 tells us, from Christ's own words, they're going to hate you because they hated me, and you're trying to be like me. No surprise. Shouldn't be. Hang on. Endure. Endure how? Endure what? Endure everything. And the everything, how you do it, is like Luke did in that one scene where he lets go of the railing and he falls. Is that a familiar sounding term? Let go and let God? That's our only way of enduring. And this can only come through persistent patience combined with patient persistence to build endurance. Meaning, right now, today, we build the persistence. We build it guarded and guided by patience so that when the need comes, we know how to endure. If we wait until then, not going to be a pretty picture. Do or do not. There is no try. We either do something or we do nothing. In place of try, we do persisting in patience to endure what the onslaught of society and Satan will bring to us in order to overcome this life, this world, and our own nature. Choose to overcome. See it by enduring. Be prepared through persistent patience and patient persistence. May God be with us all.